Very metal.
You know what?
Yeah, sure, we get try for a week. I think it's definitely
Yes.
Not very well decided. 4 years ago, I decided to run
Pretty much down there. Use the link so you can usually just say.
That's from New York. Now, probably. Either way. Northern Illinois.
Yes.
Mexico. All of Latin Arizona, Texas, Oklahoma, Mexico, right up there on the south. So at that point, once they don't, then you are walk out. Great.
Those are my favorite.
All the work you've done. Here's something I find. Yeah, seaweed work. I'm part of hosting part-time group trying to bring the next already.
Okay, everyone, got a light meeting today. I am Brian's body double today, so get ready. So we're gonna start with the what?
A lot more here.
Yeah, a little bit more here. It's all right. Pledge of Allegiance. Bill, can you start for us?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Okay, the four-way pact. Eileen.
Courage to tell the whole truth. I will be kind in the way I tell it. I will be fair and not seek selfish advantage. I will have an open heart and an open mind.
And I am very happy to say Jack is here. So Jack, if you come forward, please.
We can bow our heads. Dear God, we give thanks for this day and for the guests that are with us. We ask a blessing on Rotarians here and around the world and the projects that they're involved with. Bless this food and this meeting to our use. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
You know.
They're open seat.
Oh, I got Bill.
Oh, there. Bill, where is this? Oh, you are here. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who's right next to you? Yeah. Why is it right next to you? I don't like only. Okay, it's time to welcome guests. So, yeah, I used the bell. I did. No guests over there?
Yes.
Who?
Yes.
Who? Oh, over there, yes, not you. Sorry, Wes. Terry, you're standing up to introduce your guests?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
A longtime member of our club coming to visit with us, Chuck and Ruth Licking.
All right, Bill, are you introducing your guests?
Well, it's my pleasure to introduce as a guest of the club and our program for today, Jim Wales. Jim is a Rotarian from District 6450, I'll say, but he used to be with the Lincoln Hills, but the retired chief of police in Lakeville. But his real claim to fame was he played Little League baseball with me when I was 7 years old. About 6 years with the Rotary.
Did you play against Jackie Robinson?
Yeah.
All right, bad boys table, who's introducing? All right, Mike.
We have, I have a guest today, my son Ron.
All right. All right, we are moving on to club announcements. So Eileen, you have the floor.
I like it when I have the floor, you know that, right? I want your attention. Hi, everybody. Hello, Rotarians and guests. Today is a special day because it's a chance for us to say thank you, thank you, thank you to Lauren Shoulders. Lauren is here today to say goodbye because she is taking a new position that will take her away from Harper College. Lauren's career with Harper started with our very first sit down to even game plan or fantasize about what Fishing Well could be 6.5 years ago. She was in on the ground floor with us. She grew with us. She helped make this a successful program. What a lot of people don't understand is it is an internal management challenge for the college to do what they've done to handle Fishing Well in the manner that we had requested, and that is for us to be part of the interview process and then to set up the mentoring and for them to come in and do the annual by the numbers and review and to be part of our club and become Rotarians. It's been my honor and privilege to work with Lauren for 6.5 years. And I look at this as her farewell gift to us. Last year, she managed, when I don't know, if some of you heard about the Bezos grant that they got that was millions of dollars. And their profile fit a lot of our fishing well students. What she was able to do is use channel some of those students into that money, which she knew was going to be short-term, whereas fishing well is long-term. And we had $28,000 saved from last year's grant money that we had paid to Harper. So that we now have, from this year's budget, about 24,500 left in fishing well that would have normally gone over to the school and be in play. So with what Lauren did for us and the money we just put in, the 25,500, this year we are funding awards at the $53,000 level. So we have 17 students, and I can't thank Lauren enough for not only her care and tending of our fishing well, but her friendship and her professionalism. And I have a little gift for you, Lauren. If you would come up here, please. And access the real This is the check for a balance this year of the $25,500. So that represents the first 6.5 years of fishing well. And like I said, a lot of love and care and tending that Lauren has put into making this a successful program. Lauren?
Well, I want to leave you guys with one number, because I know you all love numbers. This isn't an audited number, but it's 125. 125 lives between Ace and Fishing Well that this club has helped fund. And many of those students, it's been 6 years, and I hear their success stories. I hear them out in the community with jobs, with benefits and salary. But what I also hear is that they have your support and that they were welcomed into this community and they were told, we want you to succeed. We want to see you with livable incomes. We want to see you with benefits. And we want to see you also have your children be educated with the same thing. So I leave you with the legacy of changing 125 lives, and we did that all together. So thank you for the opportunity to make this community stronger. This is not a goodbye, because I'm still in the nonprofit community. I will be in Buffalo Grove as the Assistant Director of Business and Community Development, which is a nonprofit for mental health. Lots of wraparound services as well. They have a community center. So you'll be seeing me spreading the good news. I'll be now working with people before they get to Harper and helping them get the support so they can get the leg up.
Hello, friendly club. So I want you to know that Rachel's doing double duty today. She's president and treasurer. I'm actually doing triple duty. I'm doing secretary. I'm doing fine mastering, and I'm doing the club secretary. But so I thought you guys would help me out. I'm gonna pass around the membership list. And if you're here today, it's on the front and back. Just mark that you're here. That'd be a big help. Does anybody object to helping me on that? Okay, Terry, I'll talk to you later.
Rachel,
No, I have.
you can return your tickets into that box over there.
Yeah.
You need that anytime. Vacation raffle tickets. Woo-hoo! Oh wait, Holly.
Holly's here.
Oh, wait.
Woo-hoo!
I don't have to be Holly.
Hey, Tom, is it a raffle?
Oh, shut up.
Oh,
Ah.
I
I see a fine coming that way. No, this is a drawing and it's the easiest sale on the planet. For $20 buy-ins, you're allowing someone to feel so good about themselves and brighten their own day because they help to support our mission. Virtually nobody says no to this. If somebody says no to that, they're just a big jerk and you shouldn't even be talking to them, quite frankly. So, well, no, really. I mean, it's an easy way for somebody to help support everything that we do, which is listed on the back of the drawing ticket. And a lot of good, we're doing a lot of good with this. And another thing we're gonna do, hopefully, is a lot of us are gonna sign up to help at the Plots Fest, which is September 9th and 10th. And I have to get the hours,
Yes, actually.
It's basically like 12 to 5, and I'm gonna put on the,
It's on page 11.
I'm gonna send around a sign-up sheet, but I really can't do this alone, you guys, so I really need some help this year, please. It's super easy. I think I sold like, I don't know, 80 tickets that day, just by talking to people. It's just a no-brainer, and we can get a lot of support. Thank you. I'm gonna send the thing around, and I hope to see a lot of names on there. Just for an hour. You can spend an hour, either Saturday or Sunday, please. Thank you. Or 5 hours. No limits on the time.
I would hang out with Holly for 5 hours.
Yes.
I'm gonna be in Alabama. I'm so sorry. I'll be presenting in Alabama. Any other announcements? Otherwise, these are a few that Brian had. 10/2/22 at Bussy Woods, the walk to end Alzheimer's. And then Sunday, August 28th, which is actually this Sunday, 2 to 5, Pollyanna's Brewing Company, which has a very great sour in Roselle. So that actually sounds great to me. Happy Dollars. Bruce, can you do Happy Dollars and then collect for me?
Okay, I am so happy that we had a really good time out at the Peterson Park in McHenry to see the Blues, Brews, and Barbecue event. And Bill, Kelly, Jim, and Bonnie McCullough Ferry Park, a surprise guest, Gail, myself. We were a press helping another one of our sister clubs with this. The district governor came, Jim Thompson, our HE, was there. Don Brewer, who usually goes there from the Algonquin Club, came. So we weren't the only ones from different areas that came out. And it was typical Rotary fellowship. We all wanted to talk together. So anyway, thanks for all who attended. Next year, some who didn't and did, consider going out to it. So that's it.
Bruce, thank you for the last job. Is that a Happy Dollar?
That's fine.
Go ahead, Chuck.
I have $5 happy dollars. I'm happy to be back to this club, the best club I've ever belonged to. It helped both me as a businessman, Karen, as a worker. I can't say enough about Rotary. Thank you, Rotary.
Anybody else? Bill.
I got $20 happy dollars. Thank you. It was so good seeing Chuck and Ruth back at our club. And just $10 just for Lauren doing an awesome job.
Mike.
I have $5 happy dollars since today's Father's Day. Oh, wait. For Father's Day, Ryan said he'd take me to play for a round of golf. So I'm taking him up on it today.
All right.
Holly.
Got $20 happy dollars, 10 for Lauren. Thank you for everything that you've done. And Jim Wales, my friend from that we all worked really hard in Guatemala. Great to have you here today.
I got a happy five. I'm happy.
That's all I need. That's all I need. Anybody else? Lauren.
I have 25 happy dollars for the 125 students.
All right. Okay, and then if no one else, I have a virtual happy dollar from Gene because he cannot not throw money around.
Hey, fellow Rotarians, I have $2 happy dollars for my daughter's performance last week. I have $2 happy dollars for them at the Star Trek convention, and I have another $2 happy dollars because I found Alan's long lost brother.
Sorry, it's just playing again. All right. And there are no birthdays today, so happy dollars are over. You're good, Bruce. Thank you. And then Queen of Hearts is next, so shuffle. Actually, I have triple duty as well, secretary. Spin.
He would have if he was a nice guy.
Or triple. No, 2 weeks ago. Bill, you were last week.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so the lowest number is 19.
Hold on. More than one.
Oh boy, oh boy.
He had asked me.
Oh.
Well, how do we know? Well, how do we know?
Whoa. All right, where's Roger? Writing this down?
39.
39.
That's not Lauren's age.
It made me wish this.
Well, he's gonna be sad you picked for him because he got the 30 of spades.
Open up 19. Yeah.
I can't do it. Right. Let's just all remember that 19, was the winner for Lauren. All right. I would say eat, but maybe just enjoy some bread and some soup. Yes. Enjoy each other's company.
Hey guys, can I just clarify the Platts Fest is at the Sears Center? And there's music, German, if anybody hasn't been there before, I didn't elaborate. What's that? Oh, yeah, the Now Arena, sorry. Yeah, so, they have music and beer, and beer and beer, so how bad could it be? Okay, and hanging out all day, so just thought I'd throw that.
So it's all matter trying to get over COVID. What's going here? Oh,
Whatever she did, it's working. Give me whatever she did.
I'll give her like.
It's not. No. Sorry, I was so rude.
We would never get
Ladies and gentlemen, the secretary himself, Roger Smith, is here to find master. Give it up.
Hello, friendly club.
Hello, Roger.
Super overwhelmed by that,
you again.
the clapping. Use female sheep. I love you, Terry. Okay, one person at each table stand up to be the elector and also the captain. Okay, Bill Kelly, Steve Lamb. Just a quick story, personal story, if you'll indulge me, is that when I got many years ago, got divorced, and there was a conversation with my ex-wife when I told her I was leaving retail to become a financial advisor. And she said, well, I guess I'm about the love and you're about the money. That made me very angry, but the more I thought about it, I thought really, making money is the way I provide for my kids, right? So that's love. So I just want you to know that today is for the kids. And if I find you, it's because of love. Okay? You get that? So if you're not wearing a name badge or a pen, and you would, like, for instance, George, it's your job to make sure that everybody at your table, Jeff, have a pen on. So this is on you guys. If you were late, for instance, Terry Park, and I wouldn't say, by the way, I'm trying to go wide and not deep unless you deserve it. So it's a $5 max today. The first fine is one I'm really excited about. I play in a tea time on Saturday with other Rotarians. We play a game. Yeah, that's true. Everybody at this table pay $1. So we play this game closest to the pen and golf, closest to the pen. And then if you're closest to the pen, you get the part. The other guys have to pay you money. And it was a little rainy on Saturday. So at the halfway point, Wes Crockett was there. He owed me $2, but he just left. All right, so I think we're just gonna max you out at 5 for the kids, and then you still owe me the 2. $2. Today's secret greeter. So you had to have either had a conversation with, shook hands, or hugged Mr. Ernie Turnovitz. If you didn't, that's $2. If you were the chairman of the foundation and were late for the foundation meeting, that's $2. If you are the past president giving a club update and you reminded the foundations the club meets every Friday, Tom goes, that's $2. If you are a Rotarian wearing shorts, that's $2. Lauren, everybody loves you, but nobody loves you more than me. So that'll be $2. If you're sitting at the same table that you do every single freaking week, that's $2. So that everybody at this table that always sits at this table, not Ryan Erickson. If you gave an announcement that was really a program, if your name is Eileen, that's $2. That's nice. Keep talking. You keep talking. It's about the love. Listen up, this is an important one. This is Rachel's first time as president, and I think she's a little nervous. So if you did not give happy dollars for Rachel's first time as president, and nobody did, because I'm also taking notes for happy dollars, that's $2. I'm just gonna end it there today. So have a nice week.
That's all. You know what? That's all. Yeah, that works.
Yeah. Right.
I was just doing this. But I promise myself. Remember, I'm in audience.
No.
I know, but yeah.
Which one?
Or space bar, whatever. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, well, I think we can get really. And now, I won't do the Bulls introduction, but this is Jim and he's gonna give us a wonderful presentation. So please turn your chairs and direct your eyes towards Jim.
Good afternoon. And when I originally was told I could speak for 30 minutes, 25 minutes, 5 minutes for questions, but I was just told I can go on earlier and speak for 45 minutes because of my love for international service.
We throw things that
Just kidding. All right, so a little background on me. I used to be in 6440, as Bill had indicated. I was with the Rotary Club of Lake and Hills, but I also served as AG for 6440 and then subsequently was the International Service Advisor for several years, where I coordinated international service trips as well as friendship exchanges. I've coordinated a number of projects in Guatemala, Peru, Uganda, and it has been, everyone has, with the 7 areas of focus in Rotary, everyone has one focus that sort of turns that light bulb on and helps you switch from being a member of a Rotary club to being a Rotarian. And international service is mine. When I went on my first international service trip, that's what flipped the switch. Subsequently, I moved downtown several years ago, maintained my membership out in 6440, but eventually came to the realization that it would be perhaps more prudent to be in a club downtown. So we started a new club, actually, it was under the passport model, which was authorized by RI a couple of years ago. It anticipated it would take about 6 months to get it up and running, and we actually had 29 members in 2 weeks. So we are geared towards service. That's all we're geared towards. And I'm also currently a director on the board of directors for 6450. So recap of 2022 Rotary Guatemala service trip. I'm glad to say one of your members obviously participated. Holly, she's leaving now. She doesn't want to be embarrassed. So the catalyst for the trip was the explosion, the eruption of the Fuego. The Fuego is in fact the most active volcano in Central America. And in June 4th of 2018, it went crazy. And I've got. Hopefully this will play. June 3rd, 2018. Okay, sound.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I was like, well, where's my Wes at?
I got you if you call me in.
Maybe. I just turned up the volume, but
You know where the sound comes out of there?
it should go with Wesley. It's my husband's name, so it's very easy.
Is it really?
Yeah. Oh, right there. Maybe?
We have volume, you already went out.
Yeah, but what about that one?
This one may be, so we heard it not clean, what have we got?
June 3rd.
So that is as loud as you get, you gotta go over there.
The volcano, the towers above them, is just part of the landscape. Known as a flame, the volcano of fire. Guatemala's most active volcano sits dangerously close to several villages. All right.
Why are we there though?
Oh,
Let me get you. Yeah. Oh, you got it. You got it. Like that. You don't need me, Jim.
June 3rd, 2018. For the people of Guatemala, it's a day like any other.
We're good.
The volcano that towers above them is just part of the landscape. Known as Fuego, the volcano of fire. Guatemala's most active volcano sits dangerously close to several villages and towns. Fuego's monitoring station has only one seismograph. It shows a rise in activity, but nothing to indicate what's about to be unleashed. Early in the morning on that day, June 3rd, bulletins started coming in as usual. But not a warning that could be a big explosion. 1 p.m. There's a massive explosion. Ash and rock blast high into the air. Yet strangely, there's no panic. People have witnessed frequent ash explosions for the last 16 years. Locals believe any fallout will spill into valleys lining the volcano slopes. But shortly after, disaster strikes. A deadly avalanche bursts over the hills. Residents flee for their lives. Noise plastic flows at 200 miles per hour and can be superheated to 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. The searing ash burns your lungs. Death comes in an instant.
Once the fire reaches the shallower or the flatter parts of the volcano, the ash cloud can spread out across the countryside. There are possible to escape from and impossible to run.
The eruption of Fuego, its largest in 4 decades, is so big it can be seen from space. Ash reaches around 10 miles in the air. 60 square miles are blanketed in a suffocating layer. The first responders arrive around 2 hours later. Shocking sights greet them. Local journalist David Mercer grabs his camera and heads straight to the disaster zone. These are among the first images sent to the outside world.
It was an incredibly surreal situation. All of the sound was kind of muffled by this thick layer of ash that was covering everything. It was monochrome. Everything was monochrome. Some places, you knew that it was a 2-story house and you could just see the very rooftop. So you knew that there was a couple of meters of this material, of this ash and lava and mud, all sort of joined together.
Like a modern version of Pompeii, the last moments of life are frozen in time. June 3rd. So that was the catalyst for the development of this trip as well as a previous trip. It was a devastating event. So devastating that back in 2018, the club I was associated with, we do a fundraiser, and we specifically allocated one event to raise funds for a project, an unknown, unidentified project that would go towards specifically helping the people who were impacted by the explosion. Subsequently, we did go on a trip in 2019 and knew from that point in time that there would be a need for another trip. This shows you in the picture what a village looked like before the explosion and what it looked like after the explosion. We drove by this on the way to the project every day. The village to the right, what remains of the village to the right. When you talk to the locals, the Guatemalan government comes out and they have identified that about 300 people, somewhere between 200 and 300 people perished in the explosion. If you talk to the locals, the principal of the school tells us that that is a major undercount, that the government only counted the fatalities of the bodies that they recovered. And the locals estimate that there was between 2,000 and 3,000 people that perished in the explosion. The principal of the school had relayed to us that every single student in the school suffered a loss in their family. We met some kids who lost both their parents in the explosion. Just a terrible, horrendous thing, but they do live there. You know, we asked the question, why do they remain there? Would it be the most active volcano? And the response was, they simply don't have another place to go to. So when we developed the project, we knew we wanted to do something down in Guatemala, specifically in El Rodeo. And so we reached out, and Borneo Frank, I know some of the people in this room know who he is. He's a wonderful individual who served at the time as a director on the RI's board. So I reached out to Jorge. I knew him from previous trips to Guatemala, and said, listen, we have funds that we're looking for specifically to be used for a project related to the volcano. He introduced us to the Vista Hermosa Satellite Club, which is a wonderful club. And we visited in 2019, as I said, and it was clear that there was a repeat trip would be needed. So we have four main objectives with this project. One, the back of the school, the kid would exit the rear of the school down these decrepit cement steps that clearly would not meet code here, and clearly there's an accident waiting to happen. We wanted to install stainless steel sinks or sink, depending upon the budget. We wanted to paint the school because the school had been, because of the environment, even though it had been painted on our previous trip, we had diluted the paint based on recommendations of the locals, and it had mildew. And then landscaping over pipe hazards that were located in the playground that the children used. On this trip, we had 21 team members representing 9 different Rotary clubs in 2 different Rotary districts, 6440 and 6450. We left on April 23. If you've never gone on an international service trip, it's a mixture of hard work and camaraderie. And what you end up doing is you come back with a stronger sense of bonding with Rotary in general, with Rotary members who went, and the intrinsic rewards that one gets are immeasurable. We were met on the day of our arrival. Julio de Gracia is a past district governor for the district down there. It's a very welcoming, very warm individual, and he relayed through the Warner Club that he wanted to host a welcome reception for our team. So he has a home in Antigua, which is where we were based out of. And that night, the night of the arrival, he had us at his house, where he and some of the staff made pizzas for us in his wood-burning stove out in the backyard. And it was just a phenomenal time where we were able to socialize with the Rotarians down there, as well as ourselves, because we really were just getting to know each other. So what we did was, the plan was, we get there on Saturday. Sunday, there was an optional trip. And how did you go on that trip to the, okay, you know, that's a separate project altogether, but that was, do you remember the name? What was the name of it? It was related to the garbage dump, correct?
Yeah, it was in that zone, the garbage zone community, 7,000 people. Hopes in is the mission that that girl established. She left Guatemala and got a college education, like all, you know, amazing story, and came back there and started this giving back to the community for young girls.
So that side trip was organized by Lyle. Lyle was one of our participants, your past district governor. And everyone who went on that trip said it was an absolutely wonderful experience, sort of eye-opening.
Yeah, it's disturbing.
Wonderful probably isn't the right word for it. But it's amazing to see what people will do to survive. Meanwhile, a couple of us remained and went out to the school site just to check on the materials and make sure that we're prepared to work the following day on Monday. So then Monday through Friday, we bust out, got our jobs done. We had 4 teams. We're broken down into a painting team, a carpentry team, a landscape team, and a plumbing team. We completed the jobs, and actually we completed the jobs early. Saturday was a day of rusting, exploring Antigua. Sunday, we all nervously took our COVID test in order to get back home. And as we got on the bus, we had a trip out to Lake Adelan, which is one of the most beautiful lakes in Guatemala that's surrounded by 3 active volcanoes. And we took a boat and went to various towns along the way. Because of, you know, how we organize these trips is we have a registration fee. And the registration fee pays for the airfare, the lodging, the meals during the work week, and materials for the project. But the materials are, it's the base project. And if we're able to acquire additional funds, then the way we scope it out is we'll be able to expand the projects, which we were able to do on this one substantially because of the support of several clubs, including your club. So because of the additional funds, we had a carpentry team made up of the past district governor, the district governor-elect, and 2 other Rotarians, all of whom claimed that they had no experience in carpentry. So they were a little concerned with how they were going to be able to accomplish their job, because they were the ones that were going to create a landing and stairs for the rear exit of the school. So because of the additional funds that we were able to get, we actually hired a couple local carpenters to come in and provide the guidance and some initial building. And we also rented their tools for them at the end. We were able to hire a tradesman because I mentioned that the previous paint job was decimated because of the environment, just the environmental aspects, and they were mildewed, etc. So we hired a local to power wash the school before we got down there. I got a call about a week and a half before we went down there, after they power washed it, saying part of the walls came off because of the power wash. So we hired another local to go in there and skim coat. And that had to be done before we got there so that we could in fact paint. We went from 1 stainless sink to 3 stainless sinks. And the stainless sinks were intended specifically to get the students to start hand washing, as well as the staff. And so the specific sinks were recommended by Steve from our tenement, they're operated by a foot pedal, so that the students, because the students, most of them don't have running water in their homes. So if you put faucets on there, they lead to water running. So these are all foot activated. The kid comes up to wash his hands, puts his foot on the pedal, water comes out, takes his foot off, water goes up. And because of the ability, financial ability, we were able to put 3 of those in. We expanded the rear exit project, and we were able to upgrade materials, the paint that was used. So we got a premium paint, and this time we didn't have to glue it, which we had to do the first time because of recommendations by the locals to be able to cover the area. Additionally, we were able to install LED lighting in all the classrooms. And with all the leftover funds, we used that to pay for school supplies. So all in all, it was a wonderful project. I do have one of my club members who actually lives in Uganda, is our public image chair. And he, the last several trips, puts together videos for us. So he did this one, and I'm presuming Howie has not shown this yet?
No.
Excellent. Okay, so this is a
Waiting
video.
for you, Jim.
Huh?
I was waiting for you.
All right.
There's Howie.
So this trip, I would classify as a success, and I think all the participants would agree with that. And it was because of the dedication of the people who were involved, all the people, as well as the support of the various Rotary clubs and individuals that supported the project. So on behalf of Rotary, on behalf of the team that went down there, I want to thank you specifically, your club, because you were one of the donor clubs. So with that, thank you, and I'll take any questions.
What are the plans for next year?
Well, in terms of Guatemala, Buffalo Grove is continually running trips down to our tenement. And I know Robert Steinberg is the new International Service Advisor for 6440. He used to be a member of the club. And I know that he is specifically looking at some projects down in Guatemala. I'm not sure if he's identified in terms of projects that I'm looking at. I know Holly would have gotten it last night, probably, email. But we are doing a trip to Uganda in February, and it's going to be at a school. It's going to be in partnership with a Rotary club of Kampala. And potentially, we're going to try to get Julius, who I think your club knows, and we're going to see if we get his club involved as well.
I understand installing sinks like that with plumbing has ongoing maintenance issues. Do you leave extra supplies and someone trained how to maintain the sinks when they break down?
No, we don't. And the reason is because on that particular brand, we bought that. We've been looking at a couple of different sinks. However, in talking to Steve Dudendorfer from our tenement, he had recommended specifically this brand because they're anticipating that they're going to last 7 to 10 years without any assistance. And they're pretty simple. I mean, it's just PVC piping, and they do have people down there that have the capabilities. The biggest thing that we were concerned with was whether we installed soap dispensers for the kids, whether they'd be able to maintain that. And the principal assured us that they had access to the soap.
Jim, could you expound a little bit about the typical cost for the Rotarians to go on a service project like this, and the additional financial support from clubs that I know that our club
Sure.
included like $5,000.
$1,500, I think.
1,500.
Yeah.
I overstated it.
But if you're sending another 3,500, that's.
I must have been thinking like Holly.
Well, what we try to do when we do these projects, the whole idea is to be able to make it affordable, yet be able to accomplish something. And so what we do is try to be as frugal as possible in terms of the airfare, the hotels, etc. So we have certain base pricing. Now, on this particular trip, the cost was $1,250. $1,250, you'd be hard pressed to take a trip for 10 days. And that's not counting in, the other activities. So what that $1,250 does is that pays for the airfare, pays for the hotel, pays for breakfast every day, pays for the meals, the lunch every day during the work week, pays for ground transportation, which in today's day and age, that's one of the bigger costs, especially with the cost of fuel. And then the rest goes into materials. So on this particular one, we put the hotel that we originally were looking at from the trip before was not the hotel that we stayed at. We stayed at a fairly nice hotel in Antigua, really like a resort. And originally that was beyond our financial capabilities, it was beyond our budgeting. And so that's the benefit of working with a local Rotary club is the Monica, who's my point of contact with the UARA. She went over and had a little conversation with the hotel, and all of a sudden they were within our financial boundaries. So it helps when you can get stuff like that. We also utilize, I go back and forth with airfare. There's an organization out in Minnesota that only books airfare for not-for-profits. And so I use them, or United Group sometimes gives us some good deals. So it depends upon when and where you're going. Did I answer all your questions?
You did.
Okay.
Taking notes.
Yes.
Forgive me if you answered this already, but the materials that you talked
Sorry?
about, the materials that you talked about, I'm in construction, I know how hard it is to get, like 4x4s, like I just saw right there.
Yes.
To posts. Did you buy them ahead of time and have them put on a boat and take them down there? Were they purchased locally? That to me, like as I'm looking at what you did, would be one of the biggest barriers to creating something like that. How did you overcome that?
You have to be flexible. And so in this particular trip, the lumber, we actually purchased down there. We had to change because they don't use the same measurements as we do. We had the plans drawn up here, set them down, and they were running into a problem because none of their lumber stores had the lumber that fit those dimensions. So what we ended up doing was having a carpenter down there look at it, redo them based on their dimensions, and that's how we were able to accomplish that. However, there have been trips where we have brought materials down. If it's something that either they don't have, we bring down, or if sometimes we bring tools down, and you have to make sure that you spread the tools out among all the people going down, because oftentimes if a customs agent down there opens up your suitcase and you've got 3 saws, you may have those confiscated.
So hopefully leave them down there, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We've done some trips, like the aquaponic system in Uganda. I brought the pumps and the PVC piping for that specific project. So each project is a little different. You have to see what's available locally. We prefer to buy it locally just to support the local businesses. But sometimes that's not possible. So you have to be very flexible. That's the key. Yes.
What kind of financing is coming from our country back to them?
Yes. Financing from our country.
Our country here, Guatemala.
Well, this whole project is funded by our clubs going down.
Any USAID money going on there?
Not that I'm aware of. I've been on projects where USAID aid has been involved. Actually, one of the earlier projects that the district did, the shelters that we worked at, where we were putting in stoves, the actual shelters were built by USAID, but most of them don't. So I'm sure there's funds going down into Guatemala to assist, but not specifically related to the projects that we work on.
Just to leave it, you have in the past led a couple friendship exchanges internationally.
Correct.
Just take a couple minutes to the differences between the friendship exchange and the international service.
Friendship exchange in my role with 6440, I did both the international service and the friendship exchanges. And friendship exchanges were a unique opportunity to visit abroad without doing any work. Really, that's what it comes down to. I've been running these trips, the service projects, for quite some time now, and I had probably 50% of the people who go on them are repeat customers. They love it so much they just want to keep on going. And I've done friendship exchanges to Pakistan, India, Italy, and Australia. And in India or Italy, we did in northern Italy, in Mantova and Brescia. And you stay when you go on a friendship exchange, you stay with Rotarians there, which oftentimes causes some anxiety for us, staying in someone else's home. But I can tell you, when we went, we stayed in a 12th century villa. In another location, we stayed with the Rotarian ran an Airbnb business, and so she had all of us staying in her Airbnb units, and then they come over here, and it's typically anywhere from 6 to 10 people, And the whole idea is to expose or be exposed to Rotary projects that the clubs over there are doing, as well as the cultural aspects of the area that you're visiting. So we went in Italy, for instance, we went and saw a number of Rotarian projects that maybe get you thinking about potentially doing something similar here. But then you also see the historical sites of the area. So it's a wonderful experience. One of my members who always goes on the service trips went on the Italy trip and turned to me when we got back and said, you know what? I love the service, but I could do this all the time. It's just a great experience. And, you know, when they come over here, it's expected that you house them if you went over there, or you find someone to house them. And what they do is they typically, they stay with the host, but then every day the group comes together and goes out and does their field trips. It's a great experience. When they were here, when the Italians were here, we had a club member from Barrington. His wife taught them how to line dance to country music on a rooftop in Chicago. So it doesn't get any better than that. No other questions? Thank you very much.
One thing, sorry.
Nope.
I'm still new at this vacation drawing thing. If you guys took blank ones, did anybody take?
I took two, but I never got my pack.
There you go, cool. Anyone else? I gotta write that down, and I guess I didn't do that, so it's you. All right, I'm on it. Thank you, sorry.
It's you. It's you.
All right. Just give me a minute. All right, well, we don't need the PowerPoint to do the four-way test. So, Mr. Lamp, since you were
guilty?
Yeah. All right.
The thing we think, say, or do first.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
All right, go have a great weekend, people. Thank you. Well, thanks, and I'm pretty sure you probably 400. There you go. There you go. And they're just yours? Oh, just in case you need them. You had enough. You're good.
Jessica, you used to work with her in Connecticut. Yeah, did you guys fit it off? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
So that girl sent me back a reply.
Okay.
So I'll look
See
it
what
over.
happens when you tell me if they don't do something about it. Get on it.
Yeah, I thought she'd be on that right away.
Yeah. Should have been.
Forgot.
The greenhouse probably.
That's it. Wheeling?
Yep. But if not, we've got stuff in our area too. I mean, there's still stuff probably for, auction housing and,
Take it down.
Here you go. Thank you, sir.
I wouldn't mind something. Hot.
Yes, I know. So I'll talk to them.
You got a good club.
They do.
Working with you. I just talked about you the other day about
How's she doing?
How are you, sir? Good to see you.
Found it out later.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Well, that's a tough job.